welcome to Moonbeam Connections. I'm Jacqui-Leigh. Today on Healing from the Storm, we're going to look at why did I go through that? So if you just recently had it doesn't necessarily have to be a traumatic event, but a major event occurs, some kind of big shift, upheaval in your life, some kind of major transition that you had to go through, we're going to look at why. Why did that have to happen? And we'll see what message Spirit has for us today. As always, I do set the intention that these videos find those who need them when they need them. So if this video found you, does mean it is meant for you. However, it might not be the whole message that's meant for you. It might just be a portion of it. So take what resonates and just leave the rest behind. So we're going to look at why did you have to go through that? Why did that happen? Ooh, that's interesting. Just, I don't know if you noticed that, but it's kind of going one way and then flip back the other. But let's take a look. Ooh, the Hanged Man. Okay, so it's reversed Hanged Man though. So the reversed Hanged Man is actually about stalling, indecision, sort of like can be martyrdom, martyrdom. Right? Well, you're a martyr. You're trying to be a martyr. There we go. Let's just use it that way. I should stop trying to say big words. Okay, so when it's this way, it's all about, when it's upright, it's all about surrendering and taking time to get a new perspective. And this way, it can be like, oh, I'm taking time because I don't know what decision I want to make. I'm taking time because I'm just trying to hold this off. I don't want it to happen. You know, I'm taking time because I'm going to show that I'm sacrificing myself for others, right? I'm being this martyr. I'm sacrificing, and people will see that. So, you know, why did you go through this? I would say is because you were stuck in this stalling indecision. So, and if you take a look at what actually happened, is it like, you know, so let's say you lost your job and you're like, why did this have to happen? It's like, oh, well, you've been stuck at this job, you know, wanting a different job, thinking one day I'll get another job, you know, seeing jobs and being like, should I go for it or should I just stay here? I'm stable here. I don't know how that'll be. And should I do this? Should I do that? And so this event happened to get you out of that stuckness, to get you out of that indecision, to get you out of that doing nothingness, just hanging out and waiting and seeing, and then we'll decide later, oh, now's not the time, we'll decide another time, it'll be okay, you know, oh, not right now, a little bit later. And it's like, no, we got to get moving here with our life, right? So this event is to knock you out of that idleness, knock you out of that not making a decision, right? Like, did this event that for you, was it that then you had to make a decision, right? You had no further choice. Decision had to be made. Or there was something you were putting off, and then this happens, is like, well, we're not putting that off anymore. We got to get to it, right? Sorry, this is what popped in my head, so I'll just say it, assuming somebody out there needs to hear. But even something like, you know, my mother was really sick, and so she was in the hospital, and we knew, you know, it was only a matter of weeks or months, but we kept putting it off in terms of like the funeral arrangements and things like that, and getting her finances in order, because we'll get to it, and all of a sudden now they pass away, and it's like, boom, no more waiting around, no more, you know, we got to get her finances in order, we got to figure this all out, we need to get the funeral arranged. I mean, that's not quite what it is, because normally you wouldn't be that's more of a forced event. But anyways, but that's the sort of thing. This was meant to knock you over so that you'd actually start moving, right? So you start taking those steps forward anywhere, really, right? You were just stuck here, and it's like, hey, we're just gonna knock you off, and then you gotta move. You can't stay, right? You were stuck, now you're over here. Well, you know you ain't staying there, so you gotta step over here, you gotta step over there, you gotta move over there, whatever. You gotta need to start taking these steps forward. So let's see what Spirit has to say in regards to the reversed Hanged Man. As always, I write in silence and then dub back over it, so it may sound a little bit different. But we got our reversed Hanged Man over here, gonna just hang out. And we will see what Spirit wants to tell us about why did I go through that in regards to the reversed Hanged Man. You went through it because that is what you needed. Something to get you moving. Something to cause a change. You were in stagnation, not making any progress. This event forced you to move, forced you to take a step forward. Even if it wasn't the step you wanted, or even the step you needed to take. It got you to shift. And now you can continue to move in a more productive manner. Without this event, this upheaval, you would have continued the way you were, in the same routines, the same ruts, with the same fears holding you back. That is all gone now, freeing you to start moving on the path you were meant to be on. Don't look back with regret. Don't look back and try to return. But do look back to see where you have been and to gain an understanding of why you needed to move. Appreciate where you came from, the effort it took to get here, and be grateful for everything. You may not feel grateful now, but in time you will realize ways in which you were held back but didn't see. The invisible chains that kept you from living a truly happy and peaceful life. You can grieve. You can be sad, but you can never move backwards. The chains have been broken, and now is your time to move forward into peace. Love. Okay, so really this is all about this storm that you're facing, this event that you're facing that, seemed horrible or bad, and not that it wasn't, could have been very horrible and bad, right? The actual event, but it knocked you over. It made you get out of stagnation, right? It forced you to take that step forward. It forced you to move, right? Even if it wasn't the step that you wanted or needed to take, right? It may not even have been the right step, right? You're sitting here, something major happens, something traumatic happens, whatever. There's a major event in your life that's going to shift your life in some way. Well, now you're shifted. And so even though you're sitting here, let's say you're sitting on your chair, right? Or you're hanging from the branch, you're sitting here hanging from the branch. Because of this event, you get, maybe the tree got cut down. You get knocked off that tree. That you weren't just supposed to, fall from the tree. That wasn't the proper step. That wasn't the step you were supposed to take. But now that you're off the tree, you can go and take that step you do need, right? So maybe this event made you shift in ways that you probably shouldn't have shifted. Like say you were had a partner and you were living together, right? And all this, but it wasn't a good relationship. It wasn't a relationship you should have stayed in, and you kept wondering, should I leave? Maybe not. Oh, they're good in these ways. Well, maybe this will get better. I don't know. So you're in this negative relationship, and suddenly they come home and they're going, oh, sorry, I've been cheating on you. And you're like, oh my God. And so what immediately happens? You're knocked out of that relationship. And so now, instead of being stagnated in this relationship, you get knocked out of it. But I have nowhere to live because I'm living with this person. I need somewhere quick. And I go and I move in with mom and dad. And living with mom and dad isn't good. The reason I got into this traumatic relationship is because of this traumatic relationship over here. But this cheating, this traumatic event, this, major storm that happened in my life, it got me to take a step out of this house, which was the right step. The stepping into this house, not the right step, not a good step, but now from here, I'm not going to be stagnant. I know I don't want to be here, so I'll start taking all those other steps I need to take, right? So maybe when I was here, I was supposed to go here, and then here, and then here. Whoops, I went over here, but now I'm going to go here and here and here, right? And so just understand that, it's just, all this was, and all this, it sounds like, oh, it was no big deal. It was just supposed to motivate you to move forward, right? It could have even been the death of a friend, the death of a loved one, right? And that wasn't a good event. You didn't want them to go. This is horrible, horrible, horrible. Yes. And at the same time, now you're like, oh, life is too short. I'm going for it. Or, I'm going to, they worked until the day they passed away, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to set up my life like that, right? I'm going to be a little bit more free with my time, or, I'm going to take more vacation time while I'm still working because I want to enjoy it now. I'm not just going to wait until I retire because I don't know if I'll even be around for those retirement years. So I'll enjoy myself now. And, so it really, this is all. So even though this event may have been horrible, it has gotten you to move somewhere. It has gotten you out of that stagnation, or it will if it hasn't quite yet, right? It has gotten you to make different choices that you otherwise would not have made. And so even though it's a bad event, even though we don't like the event, even though this is a traumatic event, we're still going to look for the bright side. And the bright side is this door just opened for me. Or the bright side is I got out of that relationship. Or the bright side is, I inherited a bunch of money, so now I can pay off my mortgage and spend more time with my kids so that, I have a really good relationship with them and we have a really strong bond. And I'm going to ensure that, my parents passing away, horrible, horrible, horrible. But now it's gotten me to only work part-time because they had a lot of money that they could give me. So now I'm only going to work part-time instead of working, 40 hours a week or even 60 hours a week. And I'm going to use that to my advantage to build my relationship with my children and not just always be just in this overarching parenting role where I'm just like, do that, do this, go make sure you do that. Now I'm actually going to be more present and more available and more there and having more of those fun times rather than just parenting times, if that makes sense. So I do hope this message helped you today, and I'm sending you peace, love, and happiness. Bye for now.